Welcome to the first ever podcast for Freedom Ravewear. I'm Ricky, and I'm here with creators Mike and Alyssa. How about you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves?
All right, sounds good. Thanks for listening in, everyone. My name is Mike Hodgen. I am the co-founder and fiance of Miss Alyssa. I have a real strong rave background in everything that has to do with luxury camping, festivals. I don't know, I think that the rave aspect that we bring to the table is different, but it comes from experience. So, we built a company while we learned how to become ravers, and the process has been pretty fun. Alyssa?
Hi, everybody. My name is Alyssa. I am the other co-founder and I guess fiance, because he threw me under the bus there. But, I am the designer, and I guess we started raving a few years ago in 2014. We went to Hard Summer and loved it, and immediately we had purchased tickets for Nocturnal and made outfits and loved it, and we really have been going to festivals nonstop ever since, and we're able to create a business out of something that we love, and that's really cool.
That's really awesome, guys. I'm really glad to hear that. So, from what I can tell, Mike is the business side and Alyssa is the creativity. Did you guys just kind of fall into those roles, or were those predisposed beforehand?
I think that the business side I've been predisposed to, but in this application, it was really by chance, that we came across a festival where the environment was so exciting that it kind of started these wheels in our head to spin. It was what can we create? What can we do? And I think that the timing was right. I had just graduated from college, and Alyssa and I had started dating. What was it?
We had been dating for almost a year at that point.
Okay, we've been dating for almost a year at that point, and it was what are we going to do? How am I going to convince this girl that I have some talent?
Well, I would say that it definitely was something we fell into. I never had any desire whatsoever to be doing fashion or clothing. I didn't know how to sew when we started the company, and I guess looking back, I made us outfits that people really enjoyed, and in the middle of the event, Mike's like, hey, these people keep asking us where we got our outfits. Could you make these? And I was like, yes. He's like, well, I can sell them. And I was like, perfect. And it kind of just fell into place. Never before had I thought, hey, I'm going to be creative or a designer in any sense or any capacity. And looking back, I used to paint T-shirts in high school and college for football games and for my friends and volleyball and stuff. So I guess there's that sort of creativity in the past, but never really thought anything would come from it until that lovely evening at Nocturnal a few years ago. So.
Yeah, it's really wild to think about how the talent that we have sort of nurtured, it really came out of left field.
Totally.
And it makes me think about how many other people must have some really cool talents that if they find they find the right environment, they could really tap into something. And for the last, I'd say the last year, I feel like we've really taken we're starting to stride it out, starting to really catch a groove, as far as knowing what we're doing and why we're doing it. At first, it was. I feel like it was just chasing, we were chasing fun, chasing a passion and sort of this ridiculous dream of being able to have a
pay
business.
For our tickets. Well, we started it and we were like, all we care about is paying to go to, we want to pay for our festivals. We want to be able to pay for our festivals by making rave bras.
So it's okay, well, if we need $300, okay, you need to make a couple outfits, okay, hook it up. We started really small as far as our ambitions. But that's definitely taken
an upward approach.
Yeah, the trajectory is a lot higher now.
Let's just pay for festivals before, and now it's let's have a lifestyle and make a living off of it.
Yeah.
It's really inspiring, guys. At least for me, I've watched you guys grow because I've always followed as many ravewear companies as I possibly can because I've always been into like modeling for them or helping build podcasts or whatever. It's a big part of my, passion. And watching you guys on social media go from like getting 100 likes maybe now to like this empire where you guys are getting like 1,000 likes, and people know, like, when I drop that name now and I say, hey, I'm helping Freedom Ravewear do a podcast, people are like, oh, I know exactly who they are, they're in Vista. And like that's really cool. Like,
shout out to the supporters.
Even my awesome friends in Humboldt are like, you're doing that with Freedom Ravewear, like, I'm totally gonna watch this is so awesome.
That's really cool. It has been a really crazy journey. I mean, I remember our first EDC when we would see people like, I don't know how this happened. We had only been around for like maybe 8 months, and I had made maybe 40, 50 bras for EDC, maybe, over the course of the 6-8 months. And we ran into like 10 people the first day wearing our stuff, and it was nuts. And now to like look around and have people come up to me when I'm standing there like, oh my god, you guys are Freedom, it's like, wow, it's crazy how far
your reach is
down. And how small like our small ambitions then to like seeing them come to life is pretty cool.
It's really exciting. And I think it's funny too because I still feel like we have so much to go, so much to do, so many ideas that we still haven't fully hatched out, and we have a lot of things on different burners. And, I'm excited to see how it plays out over the next couple of years. But I to bring it full circle with the happenstance nature, just being able to make something out of nothing, I think it came from like really this innate desire to want to do something worthwhile. To like, we could have fallen into the I don't know what you want to call it, the grind, or working for the man. I had like, there's opportunities to take normal jobs and do quote unquote normal things, and I'm glad that we sort of stuck to our guns. And so I hope that other people do the same thing, that when there's opportunity and you feel that like desire, that passion, don't overlook it, because it is it's sort of like your I don't know, it's what you've got. You got to keep that fire burning.
So as far as the name goes, you guys, how did this name come to be? How did this like speak to you and you're like, yes, this is what the brand is going to be?
Mike,
you can go first.
Okay, I think it started like this. Okay, Alyssa, I just read some articles, and this is what we need to do in order to create a name. Like, step number 1, we need to like, how does it make you feel? What does raving make you feel? And we sort of, when, like, I think, did we write down
the
list of stuff?
No, we didn't. Yeah, I just said freedom. Freedom. Gives you freedom.
Yeah, and then it was like, okay, cool.
That was
there. It is.
So it was really easy,
and then,
actually.
Yeah, and then the next one was, okay, well, we want to rank well on SEO, and we want to be able to like have the most amount of organic traffic be generated from the name. So, okay, what are we selling? Ravewear. Okay, if people are searching ravewear, then it's going to be at least we'll have a chance to be shown to people who are searching for it. So we want to have a lot of pages that say ravewear. So Freedom Ravewear. It was simple. It's a tongue twister.
I know. It's just going to say, like, looking back,
it's the worst name,
Freedom Ravewear. That's really hard. That's why we've really transitioned into FRW, because like, we messed that up plenty of times and heard other people like Freedom Livre, like, oh, okay, yes, that's close, but
R's and W's are not back to back.
No.
Well, really it starts a funny conversation. So,
That's true.
Yeah, so I mean, it was simple, honestly, but it made sense. So I think that's why it worked. And I mean, we started the company within 7 days of Nocturnal, so we had our papers in, and like,
we had business cards and Instagram. I had bras, and we were passing them out at Mad Decent Block Party the next weekend.
Oh wow, that's really awesome.
Yeah, it was a little weird and crazy.
Like when you think about it, we were really, really possessed by something.
Yeah,
you were possessed by the ravewear.
Exactly, the Freedom Ravewear.
Yeah.
Well, guys, how about some of the key factors in the development process, as far as like, you started off really, really quickly, you had your business cards. What after that came? Like, what was it? Hiring a person to help you? Was it getting a space to create? What were like some of the key things that pushed it along?
Alyssa?
Oh man. Well, we, for the first 2.5 years, 3 years, worked out of our apartment. So our living space turned into a giant craft area with glue and glitter and sequins and rhinestones everywhere. Yeah. There's hot glue stains on the floor from when I drop rhinestones. And we kind of, thinking about our space, slowly developed that from like a plastic table. And I remember when we ordered our first mannequin, which was pretty weird, you know, making bras on the table. I was like, this doesn't work. I need a mannequin. And so we still have Betty. She's a little torn up, but and then that space transitioned into extra storage, and then the storage had to get taller, and then we had to build storage in the backyard, and we had a storage unit.
Alyssa's parents, my soon-to-be in-laws, really awesome, like crafters, but they put together some sheds in the back, and that really helped, you know, to just like expand the space, because as far as like the business development goes, we did everything on our own for a very long time, purely because we didn't have the money to hire anyone else to do it. So, you know, for anybody that wants to start a business or wants to do something, I encourage them to challenge themselves to learn as many skills as possible at a, you know, basic level, enough to get by, you know, enough to make it work, and then, you know, keep moving on as you grow something and you generate revenue, rather than spend money initially to get, you know, help on something that you're not necessarily sure of if it's going to work or not. You know, I think a lot of the success that we've had now is because we've failed so many times and made so many mistakes, but it's because we made those mistakes that it didn't hurt as bad as spending $2,000 for somebody to do something and then being like, wow, that didn't work. For us, it was like, well, we lost a day. We lost a day of work. What about her?
It was nice not taking any capital or having a lot of money to spend at the beginning, because we weren't making big mistakes, you know, as far as spending money. I remember the first time we hired, with air quotes, someone to do marketing, and I think it was like $150, and we were like, this is a big deal, you know, like $150 is a huge deal. And I think that was good for us, because, you know, we weren't making big mistakes, but that $150, they turned out to be a scam. And I remember like just feeling horrible. It was like, what were we thinking? I can't believe it. And so we were really tight after that. We were like, we can't trust anyone. Like, we can do this ourselves. When we get to the point where we absolutely need help, we'll, you know, do the research and find it. But starting small, and that was a really good idea, and, you know, made us successful.
So that was like, that was the development of it. It was, how can we do things on our own at the lowest cost possible, so that we can just keep getting more people to like experience the brand, experience you know, what we hope to be the best customer service possible. Like, if somebody has a problem, like, we will help you. You know, we want you to love your product. That's it. There's nothing else besides that. And then I'd say, what was it? How many months in were we when we did our first festival?
We were just over a year. It was just over a year in, because it was November of 2015. Yes, November 2015, Global Dance Arizona.
We had a couple friends of ours reach out, Sam and Lyle, hello. And what did they say? It's like, hey, there's some festival. How did that work out?
Well, Anderson was going.
Anderson was going.
For Night Gear. And I was talking to him, and I was like, oh, we've been wanting to do festivals for a while. And so he set us up with Sam and Lyle, and within maybe a couple of weeks, I think, beforehand, and we decided, like, let's do this. Let's try and build up a little bit of inventory. Let's see if it's worth it. So you guys did
a little booth.
Yeah, we had our first booth at Global Dance Arizona in 2015.
Filled up was it the Corolla?
We had the Corolla,
Filled it up with all sorts of random stuff, and went out and, like, did pretty well for
for having nothing. I mean, we had nothing.
We did pretty well.
Some bandanas, a few hoods. Yeah. I did stock up for the hoods.
You had a couple bras out there.
Yeah, some bras for sure. It was mostly bras at that point still, and some like flower crowns, and we didn't have very much.
No,
I bet that was a nice confidence boost though. That people were like, "Oh, this is really cool stuff. I want to get this stuff. I want to wear it."
Definitely. And we had a cool booth. I mean, we went all out. We made sure that it looked really cool and it was inviting and. You know, we bought like really pretty twinkly light curtains and set it up, made it look real nice.
Yeah, no, it really was motivating. I think that because we didn't get kicked straight in the teeth. we went back.
Yeah, we went back
and had a lot of fun. And then it was just like, okay, how can we make our booth better?
Yeah,
how can we make it bigger? What events can we go to? How can we get more people to experience the brand, and what can we do to bring a ton of value? And so, you know, we even did things like making custom hoods on site, where we built this wall with all these like different colored sequin or spandex fabrics, and people could just point at whatever color they wanted, and Alyssa would be sitting there with her sewing machine.
Oh, that's really cool.
And she'd be like, okay, so it's like made to order assassin hoods, and she would just whip them up and give them to people. So it was like they could choose their custom creation out of
we had like 20
options.
That's
and you
pretty cool.
Choose different sides and just go with it. And Melissa would just whip it up. And so, you know, everything is up until, you know, November of last year. Everything was made by Alyssa, and still, which is ridiculous. I mean, that's 2 EDCs under a belt.
2 booths at EDC.
So all of that inventory, which is ridiculous, and then 30 other festivals, all of that inventory. You know, for a chem major, she's got some twinkle hands.
It's very nice. That's really awesome.
Yeah, and I had the really challenging task of like just enjoying the ride.
So. Yeah, you have to go to Joann's a lot and help me pick out fabrics. So
that's fun.
Very good support system.
Yeah.
So I know that you guys have a few principles that are really important to your company and how you guys want to interact with your customers and your friends. What are those principles that you guys like to stick to?
Yeah, so the principles are really important. They've actually only come about recently in terms of this is how we're going to package it, defining them. It at its core has always been present, but really understanding it, we needed it ourselves, and we still do go through the process and go through understanding these objectives to really be able to then start to be evangelists for it. We couldn't tell people about something that we didn't really know about ourselves. Yeah. Now we feel like we have a pretty good understanding of what it is that got us to where we are and what it is that we want our brand to represent. So the first bit is self-expression, and I think that is like pretty obvious with the company. Like, we want people to be able to express themselves, and the practice of self-expression brings confidence. And when you do both of those back to back, and you do it for a period of time, because it's not good enough to just self-express on a day and then the next day be bottled up because of pressures from parents or pressures from society, that you have to consistently self-express. And then when you get that, you have some confidence, and when you have some confidence, then you can really start to love yourself. And that whole chain of self-expression, confidence, self-love really defines the individual. But ultimately, a capable individual, defined as such, then needs to focus on helping the community. And that's the last one, community. So being able to work on yourself enough to get to a point where you understand yourself and your place in the world and how you can impact it, hopefully in a positive way. We want people to obviously do positive things and promote the culture in the best way possible, which is why I think we were even drawn to the rave community in the first place, and especially with such bizarre political times now. It seems like such an opportune moment for people who have experienced festivals to be able to reach out to other people who might feel ostracized and just bring them in and give some love, because right now there is nothing more that the world needs than Plur, but it seems like it's going to be a battle, So, Alyssa, any thoughts on that? What's your journey with the self-expression? How do you feel about self-expression?
Well, I would say that my self-expression is pretty high, pretty good. I get to wear athletic clothes to work, which makes me happy, and I get to wear a lot of my own creations out and about, and that's definitely one way I like to express myself. And it gives me, confidence that I'm able to create something that I like, something that's me, bright and colorful and everything, and get to wear it often. So, yeah.
Nice.
If you guys saw around the studio right now, right outside, there's all these beautiful sequins and sparkly and different crazy colored pattern things all over the place. If you guys haven't had the opportunity to check it out yet, I highly suggest it. So moving right along, when the vision started, we kind of already went along with that. It kind of just snowballed really, really quickly. But do you think, aside from, just paying for tickets, has the vision changed for you guys?
Yeah, we could buy quite a few tickets now. It'd be fun. We should just take some time off and go.
I know.
Just
like to do some European events.
Yeah.
The vision has definitely changed. I mean, sure. I think that Mike saw the possibility much sooner than I did. I was like, I want to do custom only, and he was like, if you want to make this your full-time gig and you want to see how big we can make the company and sell more clothes and get your things out there and make all these people feel beautiful and impact the fashion scene, like, you're gonna have to move away from customs. And he's like, we could do this and we could make this our lifestyle. Like, we could make this into our career, and we could be doing something we love. And so he really pushed that vision and made it become a reality, which is really cool. I'm so happy that I get to do something I love and impact people in a positive way, and spread love and joy through our channel. I think that's a really cool thing that most people don't get to experience. So
yeah, definitely, because once you do something that you love, you're not really working anymore. You're kind of just pushing through your passions.
It definitely helps.
That's why, I empathize with being in a situation where you're doing something you don't want to do, because when we first started the company, I had 5 jobs and moved Alyssa so that she could just work full time, just on this, and then I would go from one job to the next
5 jobs.
And I would get 2 hours a day to work on the company and 4 or 5 hours to sleep. And I had all of these part-time jobs lined up because it was the flexibility I needed in order to be able to do what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So I had to create an extremely uncomfortable situation and balance a bunch of spinning dishes in the air and hope that I could keep everything going so that we could hopefully have enough momentum over a period of time to make something happen. And it went from 5 jobs to 4 jobs, 4 jobs to 3 jobs, 3 jobs to 2 jobs, and then eventually just going full time with FRW. And that's when then we really felt like a good boost, because we could both focus in on our passion. And that energy, that's the thing that I want people to think about, is that there is a type of cosmic energy, passion, whatever it is that you want to define it as. But we all know what, hopefully we know what I'm talking about. It's that motive force that will, in the face of an obstacle, not give a fuck. Where it says, oh, that's how something is supposed to be done? Okay, well, I can't do it that way, and I don't care. I'm going to make it happen this way, and just pushing through boundaries. That passion was essential for what we're doing. I think it's essential for people to have to be able to enjoy a lifestyle that is more in their control. Mm-hmm. And now, if you have a job somewhere else that you enjoy doing, no criticisms there. That's awesome. But if you find yourself in a position where you're hating what you're doing, time's ticking. Jump ship. Do something that you love.
Definitely.
Because why not? We're living in a really great time. And opportunity is present, so we need to be able to take advantage of it.
So, as you mentioned, 5 jobs. That's what you were doing, trying to start building this company. Would you say that was the most difficult part in the process thus far, or is there one part where you're just where you thought oh, I can't go anymore, this is getting too difficult for us? Any thoughts on that?
We have definitely had moments where we're is this worth it? Are we doing the right thing? You know, like, I can think of a few instances.
Like what?
Like,
jog my memory, because I'm like, I know there have been times where it's like, whoa, this is a little heavy.
Last year at EDC, where we were like, how are we going to make it through this?
Oh yeah. We had put in so much effort to make this booth pop off.
20-hour days, barely sleeping, sewing, thousands of units, and
oh my gosh,
spending all of our money and time and building up inventory, and
and then
so this was EDC 2017.
2017.
I think I saw your guys' booth. Yeah, I was there. It was really cool.
It was very cool.
It was really cool.
It was very cool.
Thank you.
We
put a lot into that.
We put a lot into that. I think that was our first 20 by 20 booth, right? Yeah, it was.
Was it?
It was. I think so. I wouldn't have balled out like that before then.
No, I guess not.
No. Was it?
Now I really can't remember.
So we did so many events. We've done a lot of events.
Technically, Imagine was a 20 by 20, but it was kind of built by our own 20 by 20. It wasn't like a big tent, but we had a lot of space.
That's true.
But no, that was definitely our most intense booth. And
we
had a plan going into it and ended up not getting the type of booth that we thought we were going to have, so we had to change our
position was changed. The surroundings,
the
input, the entries were different than we had expected. So we had to. It's funny because we, for the first time, had like a really solid plan going into this festival. Where like normally we have an idea, but we were kind of like
it kind of always changes depending on where the walkways are, what booth are you going to get put in, because festivals don't typically tell you where you're going to be. You don't get to choose your booth spot or anything like a normal exhibitor. You're not a normal exhibitor. You're kind of just where they put you, and you don't really know where it's going to be. So every time going in, you're kind of like, you get there, you look at the space, and then I have to decide, okay, what's going to go where, based on our racks and our grid wall and our, tables and all that kind of stuff. Like, where can things go, setting up lighting, that kind of stuff. So we had a plan, and it was an awesome booth.
And then we show up, and it was like, this
so
plan is not going to work.
Yeah, we had to tear down walls of the tents and reposition them. And I mean, I sat there just bawling, like, I can't do this. We can't go on. Like, how are we gonna make this happen? We were really far away from the walkway, and it was like all these things that we had decided like to get people in, and it was tough. That one was definitely one of the toughest.
So it was definitely a point of exponential growth for you guys, because you like overcame it, right? You were like, we're gonna push through this.
Yeah, I'd say it's the same thing I was just talking about before, where it's like, well, we have an obstacle, like, we're gonna make the most of it.
Yeah.
And we're going to, hopefully persevere. I think in the long run, that those types of experiences, they sharpen us for future events. Definitely. They sharpen us for our business acumen. They sharpen us for how we can make sure that we take care of the brand and make sure that it's represented the way we want it to be. Mm-hmm. So it's really funny when you have the mindset that failure is feedback, and you have the ability to turn that negative energy into something positive. You really can't lose.
Yeah.
And it's funny to say, because some people are like, all right, that sounds great. How do you really do it? It's really just like convincing yourself that there is no
losses, just changing the narrative.
Yes, and being adaptive, and knowing that your goal is only going to be achieved by going through a bunch of shit. And some of the stuff you might be able to predict, and some of it you won't. So when you come across something that you didn't predict, you say, oh, this is one of those things I didn't predict. Great, how am I going to work through it? Mm-hmm. And so
I think another thing that's been really important in helping us, or me personally helping get here, is I remember in the beginning there being a lot of ups and downs financially. It would be going really, really well, and then it would be like, wow, we have $20 in the bank. How am I supposed to make this happen? And becoming okay with the lows, in the industry or in the business of fashion and stuff. You have to be okay. Like, okay, I know that it's a low right now, but that doesn't mean it's over, and there's no hope. It's going to turn back around. You got to keep pushing. You got to be smart with how you're doing it. Like, we're going to be able to pay the bills. You just got to keep pushing and being okay in the mud area, kind of. that was a tough lesson. I mean, for both of us to learn at one point.
But now that you say that, I remember that being a thing for you. Like, I'd say more so that like in those moments that I was trying to be like, Alyssa, we're good. And then there were times where I'm like, oh man, and Alyssa's like, Mike, we're good. so it would switch, you know. And it's funny because, you know, that's where we rely on each other in like those moments. Yeah, now we have like a team of people that help us.
Yeah,
and that's cool.
That's really awesome.
Because we wouldn't. That's becoming like a real gratifying part of it. Is like as we grow and as the ambition has changed, which is back to your question. Like it is the number one thing now is just how do we scale with quality fast as possible, and that's all we're doing. And it's cool to be able to like have, you know, people in on the dream. It's fun.
I have one more question for you guys as far as the company goes, and that question is, so you guys have already made so much exponential growth and the vision has changed. Where do you want to see the company go in the next 3 years? What's the next adventure?
Mike, go ahead.
Sweet. The next adventure is definitely going to be providing a wider array of products for both men and women, and to be able to do so in a very innovative way where we are going to be a vertically integrated company that produces everything here in the United States and does so at a price competitive point. What does that all mean? Basically that we're going to be able to make products here, which means they'll ship faster, they'll have the trend will be more hot, and we'll be able to do it faster than our competitors. And I think that's what we're trying to do, is bring the best, the fastest, and to do so without compromising the quality, because that's what got us to where we are. You know, it's the fact that, you know, when Alyssa was sewing everything, where things aren't going out that don't look well.
Yeah.
You know, that don't look right. And so where do we want to see it go is as we add more products, as we scale our manufacturing capacity, that we really start to engage with a broader range of interests and serve more people. You know, we're doing the best we can with female ravers. Now let's get some men to really shine bright. Shine bright like a diamond.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then from there, you know, there's just so many cool things to do. You know, getting back to the custom roots. There's some really innovative technology that'll enable us to do that, but to do it in an efficient way.
Yeah.
It's not Alyssa sitting making something custom every single time, but we have a robust mechanical way of doing things. Alyssa?
You got it.
See.
This was some really great stuff, guys. I'm so excited we finally got to sit down and, you know, talk about the development of the company and where it's all going and all of your obstacles that you overcame. And thank you guys for listening to the first ever episode of Freedom Rapewear Podcast. In future episodes, you guys can look forward to interviews with influencers, models, DJs, and so much more. And anything you guys want to hear from us, please feel free to reach out and tell us what you would like to hear.